I'm Brian Professor B. Davis for your San Francisco 49ers post-game recap on Niners Radio Sunday at Levi Stadium at the Mecca. The Niners protecting the home field advantage with a complete game shutout as they shut out the New Orleans Saints at the Mecca in Santa Clara by a score of 13-0. As the Niners in the contest, they end up going with a shutout, and the Niners in the last 4 games, in the last 8 quarters, defense have not allowed a touchdown. The offense was not great for the day. They were able to rack up a respectable 317 total yards of offense, but and 96 yards rushing for the day. But the Niners had some chances to early in the game to kind of bust that game wide open, and the Niners got a field goal by. They ended up getting a field goal in the second quarter, or they got a field goal by Robbie Gould for a 3-0 game. It stayed that way until the third quarter, but then it was Jimmy Garoppolo hooking up with the wide receiver Juan James for a touchdown, 10-0. They added a field goal out of that. It was 13-0. The Saints had 8 drop balls in the game. They end up committing 2 costly turnovers. The Niners defense even a pop-loose fumble from Alvin Kamara to stop a Saints drive in the red zone, and then the kicker and the missed field goal was the difference. And the Niners were +2 in the turnover ratio, 2 takeaways to be exact in the game. Look at the numbers of the game. Jimmy Garoppolo threw for 26 out of 37 attempts, 220 yards, 22 yards passing, a touchdown. Elijah Mitchell, 7 carries for 35 yards. He left that game with a knee injury, not on the other knee. This one is not as bad as the one he had when he missed out for the next 8 weeks. Juan James, 6 catches. He led the Niners for 49 yards. And, 49 yards. It was Brandon Ayuk, targeted 8 times, 5 balls for 65 yards. He averaged 13 yards a catch. Christian McCaffrey ended up only having 49 yards total offensively, averaging only 3.2 yards. He left with an injury, but he's okay. And then Mason, who filled in for Mitchell, 25 carries for 25 yards, averaging 5 yards per carry. Deebo Samuel targeted 7 times, 3 catches for 43 yards, averaging 14.3 yards per catch. And George Kittle, the people's tight end, targeted 4 times, 3 catches for 26 yards, averaging 8.7 yards. Robbie Gould, 2 for 2 in field goals. He was 1 for 1 in his extra points as well. And then Andy Dalton threw for 204 yards. He rushed for another 21, 22, averaging 22.5, averaging 10.2 yards per touch. So, with the win, the Niners improved their record to 7-4. And with their win, coupled with the Seahawks loss to their old AFC West rivalry from back in the day to the Vegas Raiders up at Lumen Field in Seattle, the Niners have sole possession of first place by 1 full game. Remember, they already have the tiebreaker over the Seahawks because they beat them head-to-head. The Niners are now 7-4. The Seahawks are now 6-5. And the Niners, out of that, both the Rams and the Cardinals were losers on Sunday as well. So the Niners have already pretty much have separated themselves from those 2 bottom feeders, both the Cardinals and the defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams on Sunday. They both lost their games. The Rams lost to the Chiefs at Arrowhead in Kansas City, and then the Cardinals lose a heartbreaker down the desert to the LA Chargers, 25-24. Next week, the Niners will be back in action. They'll take on the Miami Dolphins for an interconference game, big game. and that will be next Sunday. That will be 1 week from today. The Niners will take on the Miami Dolphins, and many people in a rematch of Super Bowl 19, it could be known as Super Bowl 56 and a half. Translation, a potential prospect preview of Super Bowl 57 coming in February. Kickoff time is at 1:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The game will be seen locally on KTVU Fox 2 in the Bay Area, and that most likely will be a featured game. I'm assuming Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson will with the call, and then the game will be on the U.S. Bank 49ers Network as Greg Papa and Tim Ryan with the play-by-play call. And this coming week, we'll have some very special guests coming up. We'll have interview 49ers, former 49er Miami Dolphin, Delvin Williams on his new book. And we have a big event coming up in Fremont. The 49ers Dolphins meet in Fremont with both chapters. It should be a fun one. And stay tuned throughout the week. We'll have special interviews and so much more. And our next 49er tailgate show will be next week as well. As we of this, the Niners taking on the Miami Dolphins, I'll be coming up. So for all the latest news on 49ers football and so much more, go to 49ers.com. Once again, the final score Sunday afternoon on this late November, wrapping up the Thanksgiving 4-day holiday weekend. Niners shut out the New Orleans Saints by a score of 13-0. First time, by the way, the Saints was shut out since back on January 6th of 2002, when the 49ers shut out the Saints in their regular season finale down at the Superdome by a score of 38-0. Back on January 6th, 2002. For now, I'm Brian Professor E. Davis. Check me out at facebook.com/Niners Radio 49. Brian Davis at Niners Radio 49. Email NinersRadio49 @gmail.com. 49ers football, faithful to the Bay. Go Niners!